All right. Hey, everybody. Happy Sunday evening to you. Going to be knocking out SpaceGhost. Uh, Asked a few people about it, and that was the choice of the day here. So I'm going to go ahead and post this over to the page, and then I'll get started. And we're going to knock this out and hang out for a little bit and go from there. So, all right. Hey, Freddie, Larry, let's see here. Going to dig right into this thing and get it started. I haven't drawn this thing since I was a kid. This character, I really haven't drawn him since I was little and watched the show in syndication. And I had thought that I had drawn him prior to that, but apparently not. And because I did a couple of sketches and stuff, and man, it was just like, no, that's not going to do. So I had to knock out a couple of different sketch cards to see which one went the best for what we're doing here, and this is what I came up with. So hopefully it's gonna be something you guys like to see. So, but yeah, it's been a long day. Knocking my book out for this week's release, the Lone Rider series, and I inked 9 pages this weekend. So, back to back. I did 5 yesterday and 4 today. So I'm kind of blah at the moment. And got the next couple of scripts ready. Got those written up and edited for the webcomic that's coming up. And, of course, been doing my dailies. So, yeah, it's just crazy. It's been a long weekend. But, yeah, we're here. We're going to knock this thing out. Not letting you guys down as far as getting everything going with the daily card, as it were. So, gonna knock in his cape right here, keeping it very, very simple, very fun, and easy going here. This is one of my favorite characters from the Hanna-Barbera days. I tell you, it's just a phenomenal character. But I hear that the Cartoon Network, I've done a little research on it, and apparently the Cartoon Network is trying to get something going to get him an animated movie. From what I understand from sources, I haven't confirmed any of that yet 100%. They won't answer me over the weekend, but hopefully I'm going to find out about it this week, and I'll have to let you guys know a little more detail on it. That would be awesome if they made him into a action hero again and did something cool with it. But with the conflict of interest with Disney, the Disney stuff going on, and then now the Cartoon Network having to deal with Warner Brothers, I don't know what they're going to do. They may be coinciding with them, or they may be just doing something, on their own, because Warner Brothers doesn't have the rights to the cartoon. They have the rights to the comic licensing, and Cartoon Network still has the rights to the series. So I'm hoping what will end up happening is they'll do something like their the DC animated stuff and take it really dark and fun for more mature fans, rather than making it tongue in cheek like Coast to Coast or anything weird like that. Um, yeah, I'm a purist when it comes to these characters. I really don't like to see them mess with them too much, and they're playing off of that heavy duty right now with the Future Quest stuff, and then the Coast to Coast type of cartoon stuff, I guess is the easiest way to put it. I don't like parodies like that, but a lot of people do. A lot of people do. Um, a lot of my followers and fans have been asking me if I was going to do, the Coast to Coast type parody, if I'd show him with the nurples and whatnot, and I was like, no, I'm not going to go there. I just don't. Not my thing, so not going to do that. But this dude is awesome. I love the character. Great story, great background, and always a really neat adventure hero. But, to each their own. Some people don't like that, and, they're tired of the hero stuff, which I can totally respect that. Um, I would love to see this guy come back as a full-fledged hero of some sort, but we'll see. So we could get another coast-to-coast type of situation. I don't know. But Disney is trying to buy into the Cartoon Network. They're trying to get them, and apparently they have a hostile takeover type of bid going on, from what I understand from sources right now, which that would suck if they got a hold of them. I'm hoping they don't. No offense to Disney. It's just I like the Cartoon Network the way it is. Please leave it alone. And, especially Boomerang with the older cartoons and stuff. Yeah, don't go there. But I don't know. Business is business, and like you said, until somebody says something formal, it's up in the air. It's a hodgepodge of whatever works, man. Got a couple of things for you guys. I got episodes of the podcast going up tonight for tomorrow, so you guys will be able to have Comic Kickstarter and a new one for my business and marketing training. It's going to be coming out tomorrow as well, and I'll release that on the timeline. I don't want people to get a jump on it and spoil it. So I'll have that going on later tonight as well for you guys for in the morning. That'll be cool because they're in the can already. Ready to rock and roll with that. So I'm very happy. Around the inking stuff, I still had the time to record 2 podcasts for you guys. It's crazy. So as egotistical as it'll sound, I'm still going to throw it out there anyway. Plug. But, it's all in good fun. Don't take me serious. In this podcast episode, I talked a lot about the big thing going on right now with the comic community, specifically the independent comics, and called out nobody by name or anything, but basically a group that's been going around here lately overpricing stuff, and it gets a little serious, but it's still going to be lighthearted. I'm not going on a tangent. I'm not going to be a shock jock or anything like that. It's still me. It's still having a good time. It's just, man, I am so fed up with this stuff, and I'm not one to normally get into the mix about stuff like that, but I am so fed up with everybody throwing out these independent excuses. They say, well, I'm an independent creator and I just do comics that way. That's the independent market. That's the way it is. No, it's not. Because what they're doing is they're throwing out super high prices of professional levels, 150 plus a page, and they have no comics to speak of whatsoever. And they're turning around and throwing down heavy duty prices and then quoting people like 6, 8, 12. I even had one guy quote me 16 weeks to do a book. And I mean, come on, be realistic. If you can't do more than 1 page a day, there's a problem with that. But I go into the proper way to do that and the techniques about it and discuss that a little bit, and then go into a couple of other things about the current state of the industry, and that's where it's at for today. But then next week it'll be back to more of the traditional fun cut up technique stuff. So, if you're interested, awesome. If not, that's awesome too. Whatever. You say that now, Matt, but the thing is that I totally agree with SpaceGhost being a locked property, and that the Cartoon Network needs to get their head out of their butt. I'm totally for that as well. But you got to remember too, though, they've had that property for a long time, and SpaceGhost Coast to Coast was horrible to me, because I grew up with these Hanna-Barbera cartoons, even though they were in syndication, of course, because I wasn't old enough to watch them, in full prime. But that's just, man, I had a serious problem with that entire show and that run. Johnny Bravo was on there at the time, which I really loved their original series when they did that. And, all the stuff that used to be really cool on there, and that they had original series just running amok. Dexter's Laboratory, Johnny Bravo. You had Danny Phantom, Fairly Odd Parents, and so many more that they actually had great runs on those cartoons. And you could watch them as an adult and still enjoy them with the kids, and then they just changed up their formula, and it was just crazy stuff, man. They tried to make some humorous stuff that competed against like SpongeBob and the thing like that, over on Nickelodeon. And then Nickelodeon changed their lineup, and then it just got worse and worse and worse and worse. And now they've got so many filler properties on Adult Swim that if you're not into Robot Chicken and stuff like that, which I'm actually not, you'll hurt a lot of people talking about that because they are fans of it and they tend to get a little butthurt about it, which that's a technical term, by the way. But people just need to relax and understand that things go on. I took it in stride with the Coast to Coast thing and didn't watch it. Same thing with the Birdman, the Harvey Birdman Attorney at Law series. I didn't dig that either, but it was what it was at the time. So I kind of let it go and did the whole thing, and was like, well, whatever, it is what it is. But I think they need to get back to grassroots. There's a ton of stuff changing over right now, and it's trying to find its own voice. And the Cartoon Network, I feel, is part of that. And if Disney takes it over, it's going to be horrible because they're going to kill their distribution. Because they'll cut out all those properties, and then they'll, what I call the Muppetize them to where they're going, or Disneyize them like they did the Marvel stuff. And it's going to be one of two things. It's either going to be a home run win, or it's going to be totally trashed. And from what they've done with the Marvel lineup in the comics, I'm dreading the fact that I think it's going to be that way because they're going to kill it off and bring those properties back as Disneyized versions. And I think we're going to suffer for it as fans drastically. I really, really do. And I feel wholeheartedly about that. And it's just a sad time for that. But it is what it is. So, and I hate that phrase. I shouldn't say that because I don't want to be a hypocrite about it because I hate that phrase. It is what it is. Because that means we're just giving up on it and it's done. Which, in this case, unfortunately for Marvel and DC, it really is. I'm hoping that the DC franchise of films takes over. And, if you guys get caught up in the direct market of comic books, for my fellow creators out there, do not bite that bullet. All right? Take it from me. I'm telling you, hands down, do not bite the bullet of the fan parody mess that's going on right now in our community. Okay? And that means don't get caught up in all the garbage of people saying that the direct market is dead and this, that, and the other. Until you see all of the comic shops close down and you hear that Diamond Previews is closing their doors, the direct market will not be dead. Okay? This is an open opportunity right now. And remember how we've all talked about community coming in and opening up the market for what we wanted, which was a fair opportunity to get in as independent creators and fans for the comics to get stuff out there that we wanted to see? This is exactly what's happening with this downfall. So, Marvel and Disney have run themselves into a rut with the comic books. Disney wants to kill the pride of Marvel so that they can take the properties and pick the ones they want, make feature films out of them, shut them down, and make them into Golden Book kids stories and be done with it. And that's sad because I would love to work for Marvel, but I'll never get to because of the fact that they're shutting down because they don't take any new talent. And that's horrible. But it is what it is in regard to that. Again, there's that death phrase. But you understand my point. I would love the opportunity to work with them, but they're not taking on new talent and they're killing off the merchandise on possibly everything so that they can sell off the properties they don't want and freelance them out to like IDW, to sub studios and things like that, and then move on. And it's just sad all across the board that they're doing that. But again, it's the nature of the beast, and that's what we've got going on right now. So as far as Hanna-Barbera goes, right now DC has the license for the comic books, and I would love to see them come back. IDW is in charge of that as a subsidiary studio that's licensed it right now from DC to do the comics. DC hired them out to do those comics for Future Quest, and I'm hoping that they'll bring out more comics and more cartoons from those studios that we can enjoy. But I'm not holding my breath here, because I seriously think that they're going to do the same thing and go to the wayside that Disney did, and they're going to tank a bunch of this stuff, and they're going to come back with a bunch of cartoons and whatnot, and we're not going to get to see these comics for a while. I know that they've got at least another 5 or 6 issues for what they said in their advertising stuff, but like I said, until I hear more about it from this week from the distributors, we won't know exactly what's going on yet. And who knows? I mean, the Scooby-Doo stuff seems to be selling really well right now, and I still haven't picked it up, and I still won't read it because of the fact that it just doesn't resonate with me. But who's to say that it won't revitalize the series as far as they go? So, I'm hoping, because the cartoony stuff just doesn't fly anymore, because kids don't read cartoon books like they used to, and they're looking for something, the next cool thing, and that's just not resonating with them right now, and hopefully they're going to change all that. But again, I digress on that. We'll see what happens. So, because right now they've got it tied up, and hopefully they won't kill the entire market. But I don't think direct sales are going to go away for a while yet. These businesses have too much money invested in all of this stuff that they do, and everything going on with all of their overhead and all of their, customer service and whatnot that they have to do, annual subscriptions and things like that these shops have to run. Mile High Comics just expanded a bunch of stuff. So, they're going into their new online store, and they just expanded their warehouse by, I think it was something like 5,000 square feet or something like that. And they just opened a new wing to it. So, yeah, I mean, you can't really just close it down. I think that Diamond is going to have to come to us as independent creators and start carrying our titles, whether they want to or not. Because, if once Disney and Marvel shut down and go direct, there's going to be a big, massive niche market that's just dead, and there's not going to be another drive for that. And there's going to be a bunch of publishers that are going to be, hey, we've got books, you need books, we've got books. You need superheroes, we've got superheroes. You need, romance, we've got romance, that kind of thing. And I think it's going to open a lot of sub-niche markets that are going to be really, really cool and competitive at a fair range for once in probably 30, 35 years since Diamond took over and killed the independent market of distribution because of the fact that they're so stuck on themselves right now, and I'll tell you flat out, I am speaking about it, and they probably won't distribute me. And you know what? I'm okay with that if they don't, because of the fact that they have the right to do that, just as I have the right to go against them. So keep that in mind. You know what I mean? It's going to open the market to a fair competition, and I think that other distributors are going to come back out, and it's going to be fun. I wholeheartedly believe that it's going to open the market and it's going to benefit it rather than damage it, as so many people think it's going to do. Because I hear all the time that, it's going to ruin the market. No, it's not. Chill out. It's not going to ruin the market. It's not going to ruin it. What it's going to do is it's going to open it for independents like us to go in there and make profit, where the stores are going to have to drop their egos and, pick up the independent books that they're not getting to fill the void for their superheroes anymore, or their other genres for that matter. And then you're going to have, a couple of the other lesser known mainstream companies step up. So I think it's going to be a good thing all the way around. But it's just going to have to play out, and we're going to have to see where it goes. But stop telling people that the market's dying unless you see Diamond close their doors, okay? Because the direct market is not going to die unless they close out and stop. And all of the small press just jump ship and go somewhere else and, go digital or mail order or whatever directly. And I don't think that's going to happen either, okay? I just don't. I don't think that's going to be the way it works. And I think what we're going to get out of it is a lot better product. Okay? So without shading in all of this stuff tonight, because I want to color this space background and whatnot, and put in the power signs and all that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put in a little bit of shading on the bottom side of this band here, and then we're going to call it a day. We're going to call it good. But you guys be sure and check out the podcast when I post them. Be watching for that if you're interested in the business side of it, as well as, you know, me speaking about what's going to happen and saying current flow predictions and whatnot. This could be the episode for you. It's also going to be calling out these people. I don't want to say anything bad against anybody for, you know, doing their own thing. That's their right to feel that way and think that way. But it's the people that go off and say, you know, I want $150 a page to draw your comic book or color your comic book or ink your comic book for $150 a page. And they won't pay up front. They only work for pay up front. And to turn around and tell me that you're going to ink my book and I talk to you about it, and then you turn up and say, well, what's the timeline? Well, I need it in 4 weeks. I need it, 5 weeks tops. Well, I can't do a comic book in that. You're looking mainstream, man. Well, you're asking mainstream prices. Why not? I'm just going with the expectations of the finances. You know what I mean? That's that's one of those things that people want to come up and say, I want to charge $150 a page, and I want you to pay me, a minimum of 24 pages in a cover, and I want to turn around and wait 3 months to give you the book. I mean, one guy even told me, like I said, I won't write anybody out, but I couldn't believe it. One guy quoted me 16 weeks for one issue because he has to work his day job. Well, don't call yourself a professional comic book artist if you're not producing a professional level. You know what I mean? I mean, that's just common sense. I'm not a professional comic book artist, but I'm going to say I am because I want you to pay me the rate of a comic book artist, but I'm not going to do the work, and I'm going to put it out quarterly, one book. No, you're not. Not with my company and my money, you're not. I mean, just come on. You know what I mean? So we got to get out of this rut and start respecting ourselves so that these publishers and these distributors and these stores, when Marvel and DC are gone or down or whatever they're going to do, we've got to start respecting that fact and start turning out respectable books at a production level that's professional. You know what I mean? I mean, that's where I'm at right now. Don't say you're a professional if you're not producing more than 1 page a day. At least a bare minimum of 1 page. So, anyway, that's where I'm at right now, and you guys are awesome. I'm going to call this it for Space Ghost. Hope you dig it, and I'll catch you guys tomorrow.